Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone. My name is Valentina Caruso, Innovation and Strategy Expert at Opinno, and it is a real pleasure to introduce you to this live event about Huawei Tech Arena Italy 2026. And of course, I'm also very much honored to be the moderator for the occasion. First of all, the first question that might actually pop to mind is, what is Huawei Tech Arena Italy? Well, it is not a simple program. It is actually a call for ideas dedicated to outstanding young talents from either Italy and, of course, across Europe. The initiative aims at fostering ties with universities by connecting, on one hand, students and professors, and on the other hand, Huawei experts, through engaging tech challenges on one side and meaningful community building on the other. We have different goals for these initiatives. The first one is, of course, to foster innovation, which is very important, of course, in this field. Second of all, build a vibrant network of young talents and researchers. Third, learn from industry experts. And last but not least, offer the opportunity to compete for exciting prizes as well as internship opportunities. The journey will indeed culminate with a final event at the Huawei Research Center in Milan, which is going to take place in November, where only the top finalists of the whole program will pitch their ideas to a jury of Huawei experts and executives. You might wonder then, how can I then participate to this initiative? It's actually very easy and straightforward. In order to apply, you just need to connect to our landing page, scroll down, and at the very bottom, you'll find a very easy pre-registration form through which you can showcase your interest. Okay. At that stage, the most important thing is to state whether you're going to apply as an individual, so as a single person, in this case, as a single researcher, student, professor, and so on, or as a team of up to 3 people. Okay, don't worry if you don't have, let's say, a clear idea, or if you're not able to provide a clear project description at this stage. You'll have plenty of opportunity and plenty of time to develop that through specific mentorships with the mentors that I will introduce later on, as well as specific workshops. The most important thing at this stage is to apply as soon as possible and to show, of course, your interest as soon as possible. Once you're done with the application, you receive anyway all the important and fundamental information as well as templates to fill in to upload your project proposal. Okay, the uploading for the project proposal has indeed a deadline, in this case, which is October the 5th. That means that your project must be ready by that date. As I was saying before, as I was mentioning before, we have arranged several milestones, several touch points with either mentors, tutors, and experts that can help you through mentorships and workshops, specific workshops, to develop, fine-tune your idea. And this is going to be, of course, a valuable opportunity to strengthen your technological skills, build connections, and also develop or refine your project's ideas, which is probably the most important part. Every year, this initiative has a specific topic that we call general topic, that then branches out into 3 different challenges. For this year's general topic, we have next generation RF technology for wireless communication. The challenges instead are, first one, uplink enhancement techniques for wireless communication system. Challenge 2 is photonics for wireless communication systems. Challenge 3 is application of AI to the modeling of EM problem. Today, I'm not, of course, alone. I'm actually delighted to be joined by our 3 mentors who are all Huawei experts that will, of course, share with you the most important aspects of these same challenges. I have, of course, here with me Danilo Donno, Senior Wireless System Engineer. Hi, Danilo. Tommaso Seresini, FSO System Engineer, and of course, last but not least, Francesco Verni, EM Senior Engineer. Welcome, of course. Thank you guys for being here on stage with me. I'll be calling each one of the mentors to briefly explain and provide an overview of the challenge. Okay, starting with Danilo, who's the mentor for the, and of course, representative in this case for the first topic, uplink enhancement techniques for wireless communication systems. So Danilo, whenever you want, you can tell us what the challenge is about.
Thank you, Valentina, for the introduction. I'm Danilo de Donno, wireless system engineer with Huawei, working for Maxwell Research Center in Milan. And I'm the mentor of this topic on uplink enhancement techniques for wireless communication systems. So we selected to include this topic into the competition because we expect that in the future network, when we move towards 6G networks, we think that there will be a huge increase of traffic, but especially in the uplink direction. And this will be mainly driven by the AI applications, artificial intelligence application. And we expect that the uplink will be the most impacted direction, so the direction of communication from the user equipment, from the user, so to the base station toward the network, because these networks will require a massive amount of information shared from the user to the AI agents that will then feedback their results. So this is a problem because traditional networks, as the one that we see nowadays, have been always designed with the downlink application in mind. So are mainly downlink oriented networks. And as soon as this paradigm will change in the future with the shift towards uplink based application, our networks and our system could experience some problems. So for this project, we are looking for innovative solutions and ideas to improve the uplink of future networks and systems. Especially, we are looking at ideas to improve the performance of the uplink of our base station through the design of innovative antennas and new algorithms and beamforming architectures, so improvement to the typical massive MIMO operations. And we are looking for solution able to improve the performance of the uplink in terms of coverage and spectral efficiency, especially for the user that are located at the cell edge. And we don't want to increase the cost, the power consumption of current systems, of course, and every solution that will be proposed, every proposal should take into account the constraint of the user equipment that are, of course, constrained devices. And we have to limit the implementation complexity, and you must provide the solutions that are compatible with the current 5G, but also in general towards 6G evolution, so that are compatible with the standards. So this is the conclusion of my presentation.
Thank you, Danilo, for providing us with so much detail. Thank you very much. I'll jump to challenge on number 2, and I'll call Tommaso on this occasion.
Okay, thanks. Hi. Thank you, Valentina. Hi, everyone. I'm Tommaso Seresini, so Huawei expert for free space optics and photonics technologies. So the name of the challenge is photonics technologies for wireless communication. And what is interesting for us is that, as Danilo said before, we foresee that next generation wireless communication will have a significant step in traffic. And this will be driven by Internet of Things, but you can imagine data centers, shift from 5G to 6G. So this will require high data rate, low latency is also becoming critical, and high reliability as always. We think that photonics-based technologies are becoming attractive, and we are mostly interested in 2 branches. One is called radio over fiber, which means the transmitting an analog signal over an optical fiber instead of your usual coaxial cable or waveguide. And free space optical communications can help us solve this issue because they enable high bandwidth, low loss communication, and interference free, most significantly, because we can bundle many fibers together. We can use multiple laser beams and they will not interact with each other. Free space optics is also interesting because it promises more secure transmit of data as the beams are more narrow and the spectrum is unlicensed. So this means that we do not need to have an agreement with telecom regulation companies and buy spectrum licenses. Until a few years ago, this was not technically feasible, but nowadays the technology, we believe, is reached maturity that can make photonic-based devices competitive and actually sometimes even better than the existing microwave alternatives. So what we are looking is to identify a few promising solutions that can then be further deployed for large-scale deployment.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you, Tommaso. Thank you. Thank you for the explanation, for the overview. Okay, last but not least, I'll call on stage Francesco with topic 3.
Thank you, Valentina. Hi, everyone. Thanks to my colleague, Tommaso and Danilo. I'm EM modeling expert. So the topic will be on AI for EM. Sorry, misleading. And so most people think that AI in electromagnetics is about making a simulation faster. That's only a small part of the story. The real challenge is whether these models can be actually trusted when applied to real design. So basically, in this activity, we focus on applying AI and neural network to EM modeling with a very specific goal. So we want to build surrogate models that are not just fast, but they are physically meaningful and useful for engineering decisions. So basically, we are looking at workflows where neural networks can approximate the usual mapping between design parameters, which can be geometrical or environmental parameters, and EM response, you can think of as parameters of a network. While we would like to preserve the consistency with Maxwell's equation and maintaining accuracy comparable to full wave solvers, conventional full waves. The key bottlenecks today are in the neural network architecture themselves are data generation, which is extremely expensive and time consuming, generalization, especially when moving across geometries or frequency bands. Then the last is physical consistency, meaning that we want to ensure that the prediction respect crucial properties like passivity, causality, and energy conservation. So the goal of this activity is to explore how AI can move from being just a curve-fitting tool to becoming a reliable component in the EM design loop, especially for complex, high-dimensional problems where traditional optimization becomes intractable. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Francesco, for the details about the topic. Okay, so now that we all have a broad understanding of the topics, I want to call again the mentors to, let's say, deep dive into your expectations, of course, as mentors of the submitted projects. So can you give us maybe some examples of what you expect? I know that Danilo provided, for example, some of that detail before, but maybe also be a little bit more specific. And of course, I'll start with you, Danilo, and then Tommaso comes second and Francesco comes third.
Okay, so from my side, we expect that the students provide solutions that can broadly address different problems. So they can provide enhancement to the antenna part of the base station, for example, or in general on the radio link from the user equipment to the base station, or new algorithms to better manage the beamforming or the massive MIMO, so more oriented towards an uplink reception rather than on the downlink. And anyway, the proposed solution should demonstrate benefits in terms of improved uplink coverage, as I told before, and performance, especially for the user at the cell edge. And very important are the constraints. So we don't want to increase with this solution the complexity of the system or increase the power consumption of current system or the cost. We should take into account the power limitation of the user equipment, because it's easy to improve the uplink performance, for example, increasing the transmit power of the users. We don't want this. We want to keep the user power limited and with their usual hardware constraint. And the solution must be also easily implementable into a standard like 5G or 6G that will be very similar to 5G anyway. So something that can be practically deployed.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for the details. Okay, Tommaso, now your turn.
Yeah. So for photonic wireless communication, we are looking at projects that address either a radio over fiber link or the free space optical communication link. As a project, it can either be the model of a whole link, so a system engineering perspective, or an architecture link, an algorithm optimization, or even we also are interested in the focus on a single component, so an electro-optical modulator, a photodiode, an amplifier, or a functionality, so filtering, modulation, and so on. As I said, it can also be an algorithm for digital predistortion, digital signal processing, packet switching, so something that can enhance the reliability, the power consumption, and the data rate. So I'll give a bit more detail. For example, in radio over fiber, the goal is to have a fiber link that goes from an indoor unit that has all the data processing complexity that we want. And then with an optical fiber, we bring it upwards towards our antenna. And we want to have the antenna unit as simple as possible, that throws as little power as possible. And so keeping the power consumption, the complexity, the expensive and sensitive parts in the indoor unit. And the main challenges that we want to address are a system that can work over a very broad band and is very power efficient and has low noise, has high linearity, and has low link losses. So then again, you can think about an architecture with how many lasers, how many amplifiers, what to use as optical modulator if you want to work in the intermediate frequency and the radio frequency baseband. Or, for example, design an integrated photonic module that can either work as transmitter, as receiver. For free space optics, the main challenges is actually the link reliability. So, if something happens, if a pigeon flies, if you have cloud coverage, the link can go down. So we are very interested in topics that can maybe change the link when one link is not working, is not having the throughput that we are looking at, and then can do another route switching. And this can be AI driven or intelligent architecture. Or you can work on the design of the terminal and make built-in systems to compensate for turbulence, tune the power. Another topic that is very interesting is pointing and tracking. So there is wind, there is building motion, and we need to keep our lasers pointed. And so this can happen via smart MEMS mirrors, for example, fast steering mirrors, but also beamforming is an option. And the beamforming can either be optical or in the radio domain. So we are looking at either reliable links, very powerful and efficient links, but also simple hardware architecture. So if you can help us get rid of cameras, mechanical moving parts. This is also extremely valuable. So these are the things we are looking for.
Thank you, Tommaso. Okay, Francesco, your challenge and your topic.
In my topic, we are particularly interested in projects that go beyond simple regression and demonstrate real engineering value. A strong example for me would be a forward surrogate model that predicts S parameters of a parameterized structure, such as a transmission line, a connector, waveguide component, while explicitly account for manufacturing tolerances. For instance, the input could be geometric parameters plus their stochastic variation. For instance, line width, dielectric thickness, roughness of the metal, trace, and so on and so forth. And the output would be a broadband as parameters. The broader the band, the better it is. The model should enable sensitivity analysis or uncertainty quantification, as you wish, directly from the surrogate model. So what makes submission compelling is not just the prediction accuracy of your AI model, but the ability to answer questions like how sensitive is the insertion loss to fabrication tolerances? Which parameters dominate the variability of the output? Can we redesign the structure to be more robust without running thousands of wave simulations, which are extremely expensive, as I said before? So basically, in other words, we are looking for models that don't just replace simulation, but augment engineering insight and support tolerance aware.
Okay. Thank you, mentors. Of course, wonderful for all the explanations and examples. This will be indeed very useful for the future candidates and applicants to the program. I just want to add that this is for the attendees. We will provide the participants with all the necessary information, as I stated before, but I can stress that enough, as well as with the PowerPoint templates with all the elements that you should consider to fulfill, let's say, to fill your in your project correctly. Okay, so no worries, you're going to have this sort of guidance, this element that will help you to develop your project correctly, in which you'll have to insert your project abstract as well as other elements that make it compelling and, of course, sound and solid. So without further ado, I'll switch to the Q&A session, to a little Q&A session, because we have been receiving a lot of questions in the last few days sent over to us via email, and I want to take the opportunity to answer them. First one that we received is, what is the deadline to apply and to submit the project? As I said, and I won't stress that enough during this event, it's very important to apply now, at least to showcase your interest and state whether you're applying as an individual or as a team of up to 3 people. As I said, do not worry if you don't have a clear idea at the moment. You'll have, let's say, the time and the opportunity through the different milestones that the program covers to develop the idea correctly with the mentors and, of course, other tutors and experts. Remember that the last deadline for uploading your full project proposal, okay, so the PowerPoint correctly formatted, correctly built, correctly developed, is October the 5th, because the final event is taking place in November. So October the 5th should be, let's say, the most important date, most important deadline that you should take into account for the project development. Then, second question, what are the benefits on the workshops and one-to-one mentorships, and what are the dates? So these are 2 different types of milestones that are provided to support you for the current development of your project proposal. let's say that this will give you the best chances of making it to the finals, because not everyone will make it to the finals. Only the most promising and the most complete projects will do that. You can attend the workshops and the sessions through a platform, a Huawei Tech Arena official platform that we will provide to you, of course, together with all the most important information, together, of course, with the PowerPoint and so on and so forth. Dates are not, unfortunately, scheduled yet, but as always, we will be providing you with the most updated information once we have, let's say, the official confirmation. What we can tell you is that the first workshop is going to be focused on the tech side, and of course, the mentors will be present, and it will take place in July. Whereas the second workshop, which is going to be focused on pitch training, will be hosted by a colleague of mine, Andrea Slaviero, a strategy and innovation manager, and will be hosted in September. Okay, so that's why you need to showcase your interest and apply as soon as possible, since the first workshop is basically in in the next month or in a couple of weeks. Okay. Number 3, when will the final event be held? How many finalists will be selected and what prizes will be awarded? As I said before, at the very beginning, the final event will be held in Milan in November. We don't have a date yet. As well, we are waiting, just like the workshop, for official confirmation, but it will be soon disclosed to you. Just 20 finalists will be invited to the event, where they will pitch their project to a board of experts from Huawei, experts and jurors, okay, that will then evaluate the projects, because we have a set of awards, okay, a set of prizes for each subtopic, which is first place, 1,500 euro, and second place, 600 euro. Okay, so each subtopic has got 2 available prizes, 2 available awards, and the jury, of course, will decide who is to receive the award, of course. Question number 4. Can I submit my project if I'm not a student's PhD with a background in development or engineering, but have taken on a project maybe related to one of the challenges, for example, photonics? Indeed, you can. Don't worry if you don't have, let's say, that type of engineering background. For example, if you studied, I don't know, chemistry, and you have taken on a project which is related, very, very related to the challenge, you can very much do so. We encourage everyone to apply, as the mentors in the end will be also the ones who will help you develop the proposal during the workshops and, of course, the mentorships. The most important thing, which is actually a requirement, a strict requirement for application, is that you are either a student, a fresh graduate, a PhD, or also a postdoc who's currently enrolled or has graduated recently from either an Italian university or an European university. Okay, so this is the requirement which is, let's say, fundamental for your application, either Italian university or European university. Okay. Last but not least, besides the PowerPoint, should we prepare full working prototype or any other element that might bring value? Let's say that the main deliverable here is the PowerPoint. Okay, that's the main deliverable. That's what we expect as an output out of your idea, out of your participation in the program. But of course, if you have any other element that might add value to your idea, to your project, feel free to send it over to us, as it will be taken into account. I would say that the most important thing here is that, anyway, the PowerPoint is clear, is high in quality. Actually, one tip that I actually wanted to share is do focus on quality over quantity. Okay, so that's very, very important. So these are some of the questions that we received in the last few days. I will actually wrap everything up before, of course, leaving the stage. And I want to get back to the mentors with a more, let's say, qualitative interventions. So mentors, what are your tips for the students who want to apply? Maybe Danilo, you can start.
Yeah, I think that the best suggestion is to think outside the box and to don't be afraid to propose some unconventional ideas, and to believe that the project can have some impact in the real life.
Thank you, Danilo. Tommaso, your tips?
Okay, so photonics technologies, I think, are at a turning point right now, because they have been in a niche application, academic startup for decades. And now the tide is turning and they're being quickly employed into large-scale deployments. If you can think about NVIDIA's, Marvel, or Starlink even. So there is a lot of ideas that have been building up over the years, a lot of interesting applications that were only theoretical or maybe could have worked if technology was more mature. Well, now it's about the time. So this challenge, I think, is very interesting because it allows you to try and think what has been done to build up upon established strategies, or to do something that is quite new, quite disruptive. So it gives a lot of freedom for work and for whatever your fantasy can come up. So I think you should, if you go for this challenge, try and find something that inspires you, that you think is interesting, that is something that you deem clever and novel, and come up with something that is radical and powerful. And then with our help, we can hone it to make it something that can be actually deployed industrially. But I think first, let your intellectual interest drive you. So examples of things that you can look at, just to tune it down, is radio over fiber links. The more lasers, more amplifiers you put, the better the link. But then it gets worse. So this is, for example, a very interesting challenge that dates back to 60 years since lasers have been invented. And free space optic, once again, what happens? What can we do to make our link more reliable, to compensate the turbulence, to keep the beam pointing on? How many wavelengths do we use? Do we switch to radio? Do we use multiple receivers? So what I want to say is, let your mind roam free, and then we converge together on something that is feasible.
Thank you, Tommaso. Francesco, what about your tips?
Is that if you are considering submitting in this topic, there is one very important thing you should think about immediately, which is data. Generating high quality training data set from full wave simulation is, I'm very redundant, but is often the most expensive part and time consuming of the entire workflow. This is why most project fails or become superficial. So my practical suggestions are start simple. Very well-defined parametric structure is better than an overly complex geometry with very sparse data. Focus on data quality over quantity. Poorly sampled parameter space will break your model. And incorporate physics where possible. So even if is implicit, normalization, symmetry, or constraints can significantly improve the performance of the model. And if you don't have already a data set, don't let that stop you. During the preparation phase, you can reach out to me. I can provide a reference data set specifically designed for training neural networks as parameters prediction. And this will allow you to focus on what really matters. So basically model design, validation, structuring, engineering insight, rather than spending all of your time generating. That's it.
Thank you, Francesco, and of course, thank you, mentors, for being here with me for this first milestone with the potential candidates and, of course, attendees of the program. So, just to wrap it up, as let's say a call to action for you attendees, do apply right now. Do start applying. As I said, it's not a problem if you don't have an idea yet. The mentors are here for you together, of course, with the other people involved in the project to help you develop your idea correctly. So don't be afraid to apply if you don't have, let's say, a clear project, a very, very clear project at the moment. I know that we have some other questions in the chat for the LinkedIn streaming, but my colleagues will be replying and answering them as soon as possible. I already know that some of them have been answered. So maybe one last element that I wanted to share is that, of course, the more prepared you come to the workshops and the mentorships, the more knowledge you also will achieve out of this experience. So start applying, start maybe framing a little bit your idea, okay, so that you can make the most out of this whole experience. Remember that the due date to send over your project is October the 5th, before the final event in Milan. You'll probably see that it's going to be a link either paste on the LinkedIn chat, as well as little QR code on the side, yes, on the left side of the screen, through which you can land on the landing page and start filling the form. So before saying of course, closing, let's say, this session, I just wanted to share that we're looking forward to seeing you, of course, your projects, you, and on the Huawei Tech Arena 2026 platform. And of course, I thank the mentors and you for attending. So good luck, best of luck to everyone, and see you on the Huawei Tech Arena Italy 2026 platform.